Hey, Demonstro here, and today I'm going to turn some traditional sketches into finished digital illustrations. The first sketch I decided to turn into a digital illustration is this skull with roses and some greenery around it. The two sketches I'm going to redraw today I drew while watching YouTube and other artists' videos. So for this one I was highly inspired by what I was seeing. This is not my usual style. I mean, this is not what I usually draw. It's far from my little elves and stuff. But yeah, I found some reference, like an image of a skull, because I didn't really know what it fully looked like. I mean, I had some idea, but I wasn't sure. And I didn't have any reference while I did the sketch at the beginning. So yeah, I made sure to find one for this drawing. And I decided to make the skull rest on a bed of roses, kinda, instead of just having 3 or 4 around. And then some vines going out from there. Now on in Clip Studio Paint I have this rose brush that I decided I would use because I am very bad at drawing roses. And the one thing I don't really like about it is that it's opaque, like there's white, you can see there's white in the petals, and it's not only the line art for them, so that means it's gonna be more annoying to color, but well, I made do with it because it was still faster than drawing my own roses. And I place them wherever I want. And then I start coloring the skull with some bonish color, I guess. Don't really see bones that often, but yeah, it looks alright. And then I clean up the line art a little bit. And I start adding some shading. Once again, following the reference I had, so basically the light is coming from the left, so the back of the skull is pretty much in shadows. And I started with pretty light shadows, and I get darker and darker until I reach the black. And you try to define the teeth a little bit, but it's kind of very sketchy still. Then I use a blending tool for my first time in Clip Studio Paint, and it's very textured and stuff, but it's good. I wanted it to be texture, so that's good. And then I add some little cracks in the skulls. It's cool. And I changed the color of the line art so it wouldn't be as harsh. And then I can finally color the roses. For that I use a clipping mask set on multiply, so it wouldn't affect the line art, but I can draw on top of the white areas. And then I add shadows at the bottom of the petals and some bright color at the top, at the tips, I guess. And then an even darker color to add even more contrast, and an even lighter color. That rose is supposed to be kind of in the mouth of the skull, like it's fitting in the hole where the jaw joint is, I guess. So yeah, I color it brighter and a little differently than the others, and I found a way to make the line art lighter as well. And then I color the other roses pretty much the same way as I did the first. Like adding shadows at the bottom of the petals, then highlights, then no, actually I made the darker shadows first, I think, and after I added highlights. Yeah, there. Yeah, that's what I did for the roses, and then I copy pasted them because I didn't feel like coloring all the other roses in the background as well. So yeah, I just merged the layers of the roses and then copy pasted it where I wanted the other roses to be. And it looks nice. There's some 3D effect, there's shadows and stuff, but the skull doesn't look like it's resting on them, I guess. So I add some shadows around the skull. I go all the way to black actually for that. And well, right now I'm thinking that I could have added some petals overlapping the skull, and that would have made it more realistic. But well, I was lazy at the time. That was as good as I was gonna get the roses to be. Then it's time to try to find some background color, and since I'm gonna add some vines and stuff that are gonna be green, I wanted the background to be a dark red. And well, I'm saying vines, but it's actually ivy, I think it's pronounced. And it's a brush I found on the Clip Studio Paint asset library, and I'd add some more shadows and highlights to it. So it can frame the bed of roses with the skulls better, and I added some little ivies just beneath the skull in a lighter color to add some details, I guess. Now I add some shadows to the background as well, just around the skull, so it is very dark just around it. And then I wanted to make some kind of frame with black ivy, and yeah, that way it is truly framed. And yeah, these colors I use, like the bright red and bright green, are very unusual for me to use. I don't usually use green, first of all, and I tend to use some lighter reds, or just use it as an accent color, not so much as a very prominent color in the drawing. So yeah, that wasn't my usual style, but I enjoyed doing it. It was kind of relaxing stuff, and well, I like skulls, so it was nice painting one for once. Then shadow at the skull, back of the skull wasn't dark enough, I felt, so I added some more. And some deeper shadows in the eyes and cracks and stuff. So here it is, the first drawing I made from sketch. Now this second sketch is what inspired this video. I drew this sketch knowing that I would turn it into a digital illustration. And yeah, it is a bit more detailed, and I basically do the line art directly. Now I really like the pose of this little fairy and the way I drew her hair. So yeah, I actually drew the fairy at some other place just as a sketch on its own, I guess. And then I was like, oh, I really like this, I'm gonna redraw it, but into a bottle. And yeah, that was the inspiration for this drawing. But I knew I wouldn't be able to fully render the bottle as I wanted to with markers or color pencils that I never use. But yeah, so I thought I would make it into digital illustration, and that I could record myself while doing it. So that would be my video. And then at first I thought I would do some sketch directly in the computer and then do line art, but then I was like, oh, I'm too lazy for that, I'm just gonna turn this into my line art. So I needed to clean up all the messy lines I added everywhere. And yeah, it was kind of time consuming actually, but well, it's okay. And yeah, I think it turned out alright. For the bottle, I used this kind of very bright blue because I didn't want it to be fully transparent. I wanted it to be some tinted glass. Ugh. And yeah, that's why I didn't use. Well, I used such a bright color. But I made sure to add 2 layers of that blue, one at the front and one at the back, because I would draw stuff inside the bottle. So basically, between these 2 layers, like the uh, that I'm coloring right now, which I forgot what it's called. I'm gonna put it on the screen for when I edit this. But yeah, and then the little rope around the neck of the bottle. And then I used the same color in different hues. No, not hues. I don't know. But yeah, for the little fairy at the bottom of the bottle. And then I erase a little bit more the bottle around the fairy so you can see it better. And I add some shadows and highlights, and I basically color her as I usually do, except that I add some blush thing. That was pretty straightforward, and all this drawing took me about 50 minutes, while the other one took me about an hour and 15 minutes. So yeah, this one was faster, but I guess I kinda knew what I was doing. I mean, I wasn't fully sure with the bottle, but it's not like I was trying to engrave it or anything, so it was still pretty straightforward. And while drawing a character, it's easy enough. And I already had the pose down, so I knew what I was doing, basically. And I had some freckles all over her, because freckles are cute. I like adding freckles, but I often forget that I like adding freckles, so I don't add them that often. And I color the line art once again so it isn't as harsh. So there I have my bottle. I add some pink around the fairy, kind of like she's glowing, I guess. And then I add detail to the other pink elements at the top of the bottle, like the rope and that other thing. I don't know what it's called. And then I add the stars that you might have seen at the beginning. Truth is, this drawing, the first drawing I made of this fairy, was inspired by a prompt that was basically a fallen star. And yeah, for me, a fallen star is a fairy, okay? Well, she's kind of flightless right now. But then I was like, yeah, I can add some other stars on top of her, and she's the only one at the bottom. Kind of. And well, they're stars, they're glowing, so I add some yellow highlights to her. And some ankle bracelet thing. And now I decide that I don't like the light pink background, so I change the color, make it a pretty dark purple, I guess. I add some gold around the bottle to make it look like the stars are shining through the bottle, I guess. And I blur it, and then I add some more shadow highlights and stuff, so the background doesn't look flat. And then I add some tiny little stars all over, because it's magic, so there's bound to be some magical particles. Then I add some highlights to the character. And yeah, I forgot to film it, but I also added some final highlights to the bottle. So here is my first sketch and what it turned into. And it's kind of funny because this one you can see the skull moving in the picture, but this one is truly the same placement, and well, the bottle is just a little more symmetrical, but the fairy is exactly the same, so it's funny to me. Anyway, thank you for watching. If you want to see this kind of video again, please do say it in the comments. Thank you again, and I'll see you in my next video.